Shall we head to my favorite planet in the galaxy? The planet of good vibes. 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 It's time!
All right.
I love humanity. I think it's great.
It's all good, man. I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The Hamm Planet Podcast.
Stick around. Boom shakalaka. We are back in action, baby, and we are blasting off into the galaxy of good vibes in approximate 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top of the morning, folks. Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hamm Planet Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Hamm, and if you're new to the podcast this evening, it is fantastic to have you here. You are in for quite the show. So stick around, get comfy, get cozy, and soak in the good vibes, because there will be plenty. If you're new to the podcast, ladies and gents, this podcast is all about good vibes, great people, and glorious stories. So if you're into that, stick around, because you're going to love it. So to get right to it, we've got an extremely special guest in the building tonight, and couldn't be more fired up to have him on. It's always an honor to have him. He's a fellow proud Baylor graduate from the national championship Baylor Bears. He's a man of many talents, needless to say. He's an exercise physiologist. He's an online health coach. He's a fellow soldier. And he's one of my favorite bodybuilding scientists, and he's provided me tremendous value in so many ways, and I love picking his brain, so I couldn't be more excited for us to have a great episode. So without further ado, we have my man, Mr. Eric Mora. Eric, how you doing, brother, man?
It's a pleasure, man. You know, like, these podcasts always get me fired up. You know, I mean, not just like the comfortability behind just freelancing and such, but giving our word out to the public, you know, and that's all I can ask for.
It's a damn good feeling, honestly. Like being able to have what we have now, where it's like you can have a video immersive conversation with people who you're like, damn, I need to speak to them, and I love speaking to them. And technology has done us good in that area.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, like we can now, because like there's like that lack of emotional connection. It's just vocal, you know, and I always like seeing who I'm talking to. And again, like now that we're
so true.
Educating, and I mean, you know, like the entertainment purposes will always be there, but like especially because I mean, like we already kind of had like a pre-chat about like what's about to be going down. You know, like it's a lot of good information. Again, just like what you said, positivity, just for the facts, because there's so much misinformation nowadays, which we'll touch upon a little later. But just wanted just to be known that this kind of stuff should always be taken for granted, you know? I mean, like, because you saw what happened with COVID. You never know it's going to go down tomorrow, so soak it all in while you can.
Brother, couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, the point you touched on about how texting is just like completely emotionless, and it's unfortunately like viewed as an emotional conversation by a lot of people, and when in reality, like it's not. And the way to have a good, valuable conversation that there's great understanding and value built on both sides is face to face. So it's great to see your face, brother.
Of course, man. Yeah, like what the viewers don't know is that like we haven't seen each other in like 2 years.
Yes. Shit. I know. Last time we hung out was summer of 2019.
Yeah.
Howdy there, ladies and gents. It's your good friend, Commercial Break Peter, here to remind you that today's episode is sponsored by Showing Some Love. And you can show some love to my good friend Eric by giving him a follow on Instagram at Eric F. Mora and subscribing to his podcast, Live Long, Headstrong. And if you ever need mentorship or advice in regards to training, nutrition, pharmacology, Eric is a phenomenal resource for that. So show some love, and we're back to the show. What got you into bodybuilding, hitting the gym? Because I know there's always like a catalyst for people like yourself, people like me who are just like gym, health, fitness oriented, savages, simply put.
Yeah.
I just want to know how did your journey start?
I mean, I started like the BS high school lifting once my mom called me fat.
Yeah.
But well, this was senior year and I wasn't fat, because like I've always been, you literally saw me in my skinny small days. I was just, like kind of getting a little beer belly, and like, because I stopped playing soccer, I was kind of, smoking a little too much weed, going to Sonic too much, so my mom called me out, and luckily for me and like the way that I was raised and like what I went through, like I'm very thick skinned, but I'll take criticism and like I don't take it personal. I take it for the benefits, okay, what do I need to improve on? So like, we can always improve on something in life. And so in this case, okay, I'm a little out of shape, and so started going to the gym, and nothing really structured. Granted, I was freaking 18,
Yeah.
And so, but like, I was always like that one to like lead the workout, I was always the one that was wanting, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that, so like, I was always like eager to go. And and like, it was one of the reasons why I chose exercise physiology for my Baylor major. I was originally going to be bio, not really knowing what to do, but then my sister brought it up, exercise physiology, from one of her classmates, I guess, at UT. And so I was like, screw it, like, why not? Sounds cool. I'll do it, And so I kind of went like a full transition from casual gym goer to like literally all out bodybuilding, nothing else in my life. I'm going to be like Kai Green, because that was like my guy at first.
Oh yeah, he was my guy too. Still is a
oh yeah, of course. That was April 2015. So like I was already at Baylor my freshman year. So spring freshman year. And so like I saw a video, it was like a day in the life, and I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. Seriously,
Yeah.
And so started taking it more serious. I started to do all the bodybuilding necessities, you know what I mean, And
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like one of like my early on decisions, because I was so committed, because like that's the guy who I am, like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go all in or nothing, And so as I was doing like that kind of naive experience with bodybuilding, I was still learning myself. However, it was taken away from my studies. So there was a time where I really got slapped hard in the face, and I was like, I need to find that happy median of prioritizing and utilizing my studies and my resources here at Baylor, and also maximizing my bodybuilding physique, nutrition and health. Like,
Absolutely.
where's that fine line?
Yeah.
And so
the balance.
That finally came in fruition in 2017-ish, And so that's whenever I real science education side really started to sprout. Like really starting to research and overanalyze everything for the most optimal exercise output, nutritional sciences, training IQ, which is all like the like three major things about bodybuilding, but I transpose them all to regular life, you know,
Yeah.
like efficiency of meal prepping, and now I don't have to worry about that. Now I can time my day where I work, I do this, I do my class studies and all that. And so that was over like 2 years where I really started to brushing up on that. And so 2019 was my first competition,
Yep.
Europa that June. And like right before that we started to link up.
Yep.
You saw me lean as shit still.
Bro, you were diced up.
Yeah. And then like kind of, I've done 2 shows, one of which was that, and then like one was last year during COVID.
Yeah.
And now after doing those shows and after taking a step back, getting the fresh air, like being realistic about myself, I now know the balance between bodybuilding, but still being health and wellness and longevity oriented, which is what I preach to all my clients, which is more of if you work with me as an online client, it's more of a mentorship, which is what I always try to do. I try to teach and preach the good positivity and vibes. I mean, like you've literally kind of seen it, like just like chatting, I'm always giving my information out.
Absolutely. For free.
That's
And
where the
that
bodybuilding whole kind of like circle comes around, started just about myself, faced some realities, really had to grow as a person. Now I'm back to helping others now, and teaching and spreading wisdom and positivity.
I fucking love it.
Right.
And
Same. I
mean, that's the approach that, when you're able to look back at the journey you've been on and take a lot of pride in it, the good shit, the bad shit, the crazy shit, and be able to turn it into a story and wisdom and expertise that you want to share, and like it gets you fired up to share it.
Of course.
I mean, that's the good shit in life. Commercial break. Peter here saying amen to that. Also, do your boy a favor, spank the like button. Back to the show. That's the good shit in life. It is.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I know that you knew me of being like a smarter guy, like back whenever like we first started talking.
Absolutely.
So like by like those first conversations, did you expect that kind of level of? I mean, because like, dude, I've grown so much like between like that time, but I mean, because like I was very knowledgeable back then. Like, did it ever occur to you that, like that was ever a likelihood for me just being like a regular meathead too?
Honestly, no, brother. You definitely shine bright in that category. And the thing that I love about it is when you get asked, because you know me, I'll ask like just any type of question to you. Yeah. And I seek a lot of value in that. But the thing I love is like you get fired up when I ask those questions and you give me all I need and a little bit more shit that is like knowledge that I wouldn't even have thought of had you not mentioned it. Yeah. So that's Hundo P is going to be a competitive advantage you have throughout training and helping clients with health. I'm a firm believer in that, no doubt, brother.
And also just like telling you how it is too, man. But like, I mean, like, of course, like I don't come off as like a direct douche,
Yeah, not a dick.
It's more of a genuine type of, not really influence, but like more of a genuine like source of information.
Yeah.
That like I don't want like there like to ever be like some sort of like, oh, should I ask this? Is does he have time to answer me that? You know, I mean, like, dude,
Right.
I always make time, whether I'm at the gym, whether I'm at this and that. Just, I mean, like, you know, people, bro, like, man, I asked, well, I forgot what it was, but I mean, like, some dude like didn't want to give me like 2 seconds of his time because he was 2 weeks from being 12 weeks out from his show, so he didn't want to shy away from his workout type shit. I was like, this motherfucker, bro. I was like, all right, dude. Now I see where your head's at. Now I see why your relationship is also struggling too, you know. But
Hello, Pete.
I mean, hey, who am I? You know, who am I to judge?
Well, you know, you just hate to see it because it's like when you witness things like that crumbling around people when they just don't see, you know, the message you're trying to give them, or the fact that, hey, you're so hung up on this that you don't even see what else in your life is getting destroyed.
Yeah, bro. There's like so many other aspects about life that's very important, you know. I mean, like, again, just like what I was telling you earlier, man. I mean, like, look at what happened with this whole COVID. I mean, bro, like, now that people are dropping like flies, man. I mean, like, you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow, you know. So treat every day as it's one, you know, like, make the best out of it. Well, first off, thank the Lord for the day. That's just like what my boy the weekend said. Got up, thank the Lord for the day. Yeah, you know, but like,
You got it right on that one.
That's literally on my board. I was like, got up, thank the Lord for the day. You know, I mean, that's literally like the best lyric ever. So
I do love that
thank
one.
the Lord for the day and appreciate every human encounter, appreciate everything, whether the good or the bad, and make the best out of it. I mean, like, it seems so cliche, yes, because it is, but like, it's so often overlooked.
Yep.
That like it's kind of like a necessary thing now to, you know, like, preach that side of life.
Yeah.
It's very, you know, like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be always good vibes. It should always be like that. But I mean, everyone has a hatred towards, you know, I mean, like, people see people striving, you know, it's because this, oh, it's because that, bro. Like, literally this past weekend, I was called synthetic, you know, because, well, so my friend said this. He said, well, friend, fucking hell. I mean, I don't know, why would you say that to a friend? But he said, Eric, I see you drinking, I see you having junk food, and I see all this, but you still maintain this physique.
Right.
I'm like, well, bro, it's called balance. You know, like, you don't see my other 40 meals for the week clean.
You don't see my other 23 hours a day.
Exactly. I mean, like, you don't see me training my ass off. You don't see me getting up at 7 and like being literally out of my house the whole entire day, going to different gyms, training people, working itself. You know, I mean, like, you don't see that. You see the 2 hours of me enjoying my time.
Right.
And so, again, I mean, like, that's just like the comment. I mean, but me being so open about syntheticness or whatever you want to label it avoids that roast, you know, because like now, like, what else can you say about me? You know, okay, he takes stuff. Okay, thank you for pointing out the obvious, you know, but like, what else, you know? And then I start making it, like, I flip it, you know. I'm like, what do you know about it? Can you even spell testosterone?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, what part of the body does it affect? You know, how does that affect the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, adrenal axis? What? Exactly. You know, I'm like, exactly. Don't talk upon subjects that you don't know about, and don't disrespect people, you know, because they're like, I was like, why, man, like, that's just, okay. That was a little rant. Yes.
It's a rant I agree with.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but now you see, like, where, like,
not a rant, it's the truth, brother.
Yeah. I mean, there's all facts. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it's like, wow, you know, like, you're gonna call someone out like that because you can't achieve a physique like that. You can't go to the gym 6 times a week. Yep. You can't do 30 minutes with the cardio plus workout. You can't diet. You know, I mean, like, there's so much behind it that was so wrong. But of course, like, I could have taken it. I could have, fuck you, all this. I was like, no. You kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness, brother. Especially us large alpha type males. You know, if we inflict our anger, it could end bad for them, most importantly. And we want to avoid that shit so we can keep, you know, living the good life and providing value to the world.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, because, you know, if shit hits the fan, like, we're like the ones that get like the bad rep for it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
We were,
the big guys started the fight, you know, something like that.
well, the thing I feel like that was kind of happened to men is that, you know, we've always had the role and responsibility in society as be the leader, be strong, courageous, you know, build your foundation for your family, so on and so forth. Be the hunter, you know, back when they were cavemen. And now there's a whole nother side of the spectrum that's like, hey, you got to chill with all that shit. Like, settle down. Like, don't cross the line. Don't take too many risks. Don't, you know, don't hurt anyone's feelings or don't. So there's a balance that needs to be struck. And I feel like exactly what you said is the great way to approach it, which is radical transparency.
Yeah. 100%.
And just letting it rip, because the thing is, for everyone that likes it and supports it and enjoys it, they're the same people that you want to continue to have in your life. And the people who don't like it, or the people who aren't okay with it or don't understand it, and they're just a dick because of it, those type of people, you will see that. It will be clear in one way or another. And then from there, once you've got that, you know who values what you are and what you preach, and you know who doesn't. And those who don't, not a fucking problem. Not worried about it. Hasta luego. Quick Johnson drain, and we're back to the show. What's Gucci, brother?
Welcome back.
Needed that piss. Such a great feeling. All right, brother. We're fucking getting into some of the good shit now. I'm curious.
What you got?
And I want to go into some science shit too in regards to experiences and whatnot. And first, when you were cruising, what's your test dose usually?
Usually 325. And,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, I got my bloods back, and my test was my total test. By the way, guys, whenever you get your blood test, free test means nothing. Whenever you see that Nugenics increase your free test, that does nothing. My total test was like 11 something, you know, which is like a little bit above normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of like my base.
That's where you want to be, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can probably drop to like 250, 275, you know, but then like I run the risk of losing size because like I do deflate, you know. I mean, like, of course, like everyone will deflate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we all know that, but it's like I really deflate, you know. So I kind of want to keep a little bit size, you know, but I mean, of course, like being health oriented, I donate every 3 months, get bloods done, see how the engine's running, you know, so to say, you know.
Yep.
And then like we can talk about like blood work and all that whenever you want. But yeah, so cruising for 325, and that's I usually cruise way longer than what my blast is. And what do I mean by that? And so I'll blast for 12-ish weeks, plus minus. I may throw in a couple more weeks. No more than like 2 or 3, though. I mean, like, I'm not going fucking 20, 25, you know. This is like 12, like 13, 14 weeks. I'll cruise for like 20, 30 weeks, you know. I mean, bro, like, because so I did my NPC Southwest Championship show blast, which went from end of May to August 1st. And
Yep.
then did my little rebound, and so I was done basically September 1st.
Yeah.
My plan was to actually roll back up end of November, early December. I actually didn't start until March. So that was
Yeah.
6 months. Yeah, like 6 months later, just making sure that everything was good. Plus, I mean, the more time off, like the fresher your androgen receptors will be too,
Yeah.
Contrary to belief, like we don't have to always stay on. There's no one telling you to get back on, like, because like there's like that time on, time off,
Yeah.
And I mean, like that's a good reference point, but then like that leads to a lot more, not really drug abuse, but it's just like there's no reason for you to be doing 4 blasts in a year,
Absolutely not.
I mean, like I'll do 2, maybe. I mean, like literally, I'll do 2 major ones, and like usually one of them's like a contest prep.
Yeah.
So like I'm not even growing theoretically, And so I mean, like just like what I'm doing with this blast.
Yeah.
I did my little deck, did a little test.
Precautionary for
I mean,
a lot
I
of
grew,
ways, right?
but like I feel like the growth was more directed from the GH and insulin,
Yeah. I
but
don't
yeah,
know
like
too much about. I mean, I know GH insulin, but the pharmacology aspect of it,
Yeah.
like, I'm excited to learn. Excited to learn.
I mean, like, if you want me to break it down, I can real quick if you want.
Yeah, and if you could drop in some metformin knowledge, I'd be curious.
Glucophage or metformin, like they're kind of like, I mean, they're meant for like the diabetics, to improve your glucose uptake, because this is type 2 diabetics. So type 2 diabetes, because like there's type 1 and type 2.
Yep.
Type 1 is where
You're born with it.
Yeah, and people's pancreas does not secrete insulin, thus blood sugars will be remained elevated in the bloodstream, and like that can cause problems with extremities, of course, like having high blood sugars, stress levels, et cetera, et cetera. We know all the bad things about
type
blood
1
sugar.
diabetics got it tough.
Yeah, I mean, but luckily they have an easy fix. I mean, they can just have an insulin pump, or they just manually prick themselves with whatever insulin they are prescribed to by their endo.
Yeah.
And so type 2 is basically insulin resistance. What does that mean? Is that like the folks have stimulated the pancreas so much, and they've had to be secreting so much insulin for such a long period of time because of their poor diet, thus causing a lot high blood glucose levels in the body. And so it needs that much more insulin to act upon the insulin like receptors, which are on 2 main locations. That's the skeletal muscle and the fat cells. Now you see where I'm going with this, and now you see why type 2 diabetics are so obese. So more than likely or not, these people are not going to be resistance training. Whenever we resistance train, the muscles become a lot more spongy with the glucose uptake. Like they're going to want to be, because as we resistance train, we're going to deplete muscle glycogen, so we need to refill that. Glycogen is a stored form of glucose. Of course, we know that. And so, but if you're not doing resistance training, then the skeletal muscle doesn't really need to be fed. So so think of it like this. So you have 2 different forms of parking. You have a parking garage. I remember Baylor in their parking garages. But,
there's a shit show at Baylor.
So
parking garage.
Fucking hell. So parking garage, and then you have a big open field. I mean, like literally open field. So think of it like this. So the parking garage will be like your skeletal muscle. You have only so many spots, right? And the parking spots will be the muscle cells, and the cars are the glucose,
Okay.
the blood sugar. And so there's only so much that the muscle can hold. So then that rest of the cars, like the long ass line from the long ass line with the big amounts of blood sugars, they must have the other free space. You know, like you have
Got to
that free
park somewhere.
acres. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like we can't just shit out blood sugar. You know, like we have to have it uptaken somewhere somehow. Of course, like if it's too high, then like like it gets pissed out, but that's not healthy. Now there's kidney distress, et cetera.
That's like not good.
Yeah, of course. And so the free land is the adipose cells or the fat cells. And so you have all those cars parking at will because adipocytes, adipose cells, fat cells, they can increase in size, hypertrophy, and also increase in number, hyperplasia. And so that's why you see people getting to the 400, 500 pounds of body fat because physiologically, fat cells can kind of go on forever. Muscle cells, you see, natural, of course, in this case. Like you only get so big, because muscle cells, can only hypertrophy, like that's why hypertrophy training, hypertrophy, all this, and so that's kind of like generalizing what glucose, insulin, and all that such does, and why fat people are more associated with type 2 diabetics. So type 2, you can still make insulin from the pancreas, but the connection between the insulin and the insulin-like receptors on the muscle and the fat cells, they become a lot more desensitized, and so they become insulin resistant. And so but the simple fix and the cure of type 2 diabetes is a healthy diet and exercising. Whoa, would you believe that? No, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty stupid, but so glucophage or metformin is used to kind of like increase the sensitivity of those insulin-like receptors for the reason for that whenever insulin gets secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas. So pancreas has alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells create glucagon, which raise blood sugar. Insulin excreted from the beta cells was lower blood sugar. So insulin then acts upon the insulin-like receptors, just like what I've been saying, to lift up to the top of the cell membrane the GLUT4 transporter. That's what actually allows the uptake of the blood sugars of that glucose into the cells. So people always think insulin is a shuttle. No, the GLUT4 transporter is the actual shuttle itself. So yeah, so that kind of answers that. And so now taking that one step further, it's how do we amplify skeletal muscle, and how do we use that in bodybuilding context to where we can achieve the most muscle within a physique given the implementation of growth hormone and insulin. So like we'll just talk about those two.
Yeah.
So because we know what insulin does, now we talk about why bodybuilders use growth hormone. So growth hormone, what the bodybuilders wanted to do is to increase the number of muscle cells. Because remember what I said about muscle cells can only increase in size?
Right.
In a certain amount. So the growth hormone creates new muscle cells.
Yeah.
Well, there's a caveat though. It grows everything. It grows organs, grows hands, feet, grows your heart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why you see guys like Dallas McCarver have an 800-gram heart. I'll ask you this, Peter, just guess.
Yeah.
How big or how much in grams, how big is a normal, healthy human male heart? What do you think it is? So if Dallas McCarver, who passed away at 27 from a stroke had an 800-gram heart. What would you guess?
I'm gonna guess 250.
200 to 300 grams. Good job.
No shit. Okay.
And I didn't tell him this too, by the way. Yeah, this is a good guess.
I was doing a personal weigh, like inside of my chest. Mind muscle connection, baby.
Yeah, so 200 to 300 grams is a male normal heart. Okay, so Rich Piana, dude, like in his late 40s, his heart was 600 grams. So that just goes to show like the level of you good, champ? Level of abuse that Dallas was going through, which is why like I'm always like, preaching that health and longevity. Because I mean, bro, like you're about to be 7, right?
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, like I'm about to be 26. I'm like flirting at that age, and just imagine passing away from a stroke from steroid complications and drug abuse. Like such a sad way to go.
It's sad.
Yeah. Well, it was crazy too because so this was June 2017, so a couple months before he passed, because he passed away in August, and whenever he was at the Arnold Australia, he like collapsed on stage, and so like. I mentioned, I was like, hey, man, I mean, it sucks that happened on stage. He's like, well, yeah, man, I mean, you get sick sometimes. In my head, like this was like 2017, so like, I wasn't very like knowledgeable about much, but
yeah,
in my head, like, I was like, oh, yeah. But then like now that I look at it, it's like, bro, like that man. I mean, bro, like there's literally.
He was a horse.
Well, like, look at this picture, man. I mean, like, let me show you, like, bro, like his like facial structure changes. It is fucking crazy, dude. Like, look at this.
Holy fuck. His fucking nose got huge.
Hey, look at his forehead.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? Oh yeah, like, and his nose. Yeah, dude. And here, like, I'm sending you this so you can have it there too.
Bro, send it to me, please.
Yeah, dude. And like that's why I'm all about health and longevity, bro.
You've always kept that at the forefront, and that's something I've got immense respect for, because number one thing that you're cognizant of is that first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, bro. So
I love the fiber life.
Oh, dude, fiber, man.
I got my whole family on the shit, brother.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good, brother.
I got my dad. I got my brother, all the men in my family who need it.
Yep. And for those that don't know, fiber, so you have insoluble fiber and then soluble fiber. All this is basically just to aid you in providing bulk to your stool, which then will also improve your lipid panel, primarily cholesterol and LDLs to an extent. I mean, like this is mainly determined on diet, but most of our diets aren't very fiber rich unless we're emphasizing like the boring food, like the oats and the brown rice and the whole grain such, which don't get me wrong, I mean, like it's not enjoyable. So
you put fiber sauce on it though, it helps.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like we can use that life hacks, but I mean, like, well, for the people that are in competitions, I mean, like it's very, very, very low calories, which number one problem I hear is, like I haven't shit in 3 days. I'm like, well, and on top of that, they're not eating any vegetables, any leafy greens that are rich in micronutrients that will also aid in that digestive process.
Yeah,
and man,
that natural fiber.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm a very big advocate on both. Like having a greens-rich diet along with fiber supplementation, which is more of a high-quality fiber, such as Fiberwise, that is a psyllium husk-based fiber supplements. And so, like, bro, like, there's like this whole thing about gut health that I can go into too. So you see how like there's like so much that I can elaborate just on one question, dude.
Well, just going off of the fiber topic, I will say, like, as a athlete and as a guy who loved bodybuilding, fiber was never something that was preached to me or like made clearly known that should be an essential part of your your nutrition and vitamin regime. And once I implemented it, it was again. It honestly showed me so many new things, like about my body, how I can make it function better if I ensure that fiber is a staple in your everyday diet, but as well as using it as a supplement, not just eating pre-workout and creatine and protein shakes. Like Fiberlize it's the GOAT, honestly.
Yeah, so I kind of have like a top 4 like supplements, kind of like our necessity, and so
What's the top 4, brother?
So a very high quality multivitamin, and so I don't mean a one tablet type of shit. I mean like, so I take V mineral quality sport vitamin, a sport multivitamin. I use V mineralized by Species Nutrition, about fucking 10 capsules a day, but again, you need
Species doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, and also one thing to be mindful of is that make sure that your multivitamin has a high quality of zinc, because zinc also aids in the hydrochloric acid or your stomach acid, and also allows for your protein to be a lot more efficiently absorbed and utilized. So make sure that you got that zinc on lock too. Of course, Species Nutrition has that. The V mineralized has that in a very high amounts.
I've been taking zinc since I was literally 14, like a lot every day since I was 14. And I think it's been a major factor to just like staying healthy, feeling good, staying hormonally balanced too. I know it plays a slight role in that, but
yeah. And so omegas. So Omega-Lyze by Species Nutrition, or any high quality omega-3 and 6. So just like making sure that is very rich in the ALA. Well, omega-3 is EPA, DHA, and then ALA, which is alpha linolenic acid. And then there's omega-6. I forgot the other one, but there's another ALA in the omega-6, but that's alpha linoleic acid. Just like make sure that those dosages are
listening, brother.
Of course, yeah, I got you. So a good high quality omega supplement. Number 3, a Super Greens supplement. And so I take Amazing Grass Super Greens. They have chocolate, berry, and or regular flavored. I mean, like literally like nothing different amongst them.
Kind of the same, but I like the fucking berry.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's my current stack right now. So, and then my fiber. So that's like for all populations too. Of course, like different athletes, different populations have different supplements that I would recommend of too, of course.
So we have. Let's just go. Number 1,
multi.
Number 2,
Super Greens and fiber.
And the zinc.
Well, so your multi
zinc will be in there, yeah.
But so this is in no order. This is all like number 1, but like these are just 4 number 1s, if that makes sense.
Roger that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's a lot more. Well, like, there's like supplements for the competitor, supplements for artery health, supplements for inflammation. You know, I mean, like, there's all.
You need to start with those 4 first.
Yeah. So those are 4 key, and then you can start going on to the kidney support, the liver support. Well, of course, like this is like more for the enhanced athletes. And then you have like the artery health, which should be general population, but again, like more for the enhanced athletes.
It's going off your top 4. I will say, for the men and women out there who do not utilize those top 4 supplements like on an everyday basis, and you feel like shit and you feel like it's this or that or something else, like add those 4 supplements or vitamins to your life and see what that does for you. Because I don't know about you, Eric, but I've recommended those 4 like as staples as well to all my rugby teammates, all my family. Like, I'm a huge advocate as well for those. And like the people who do not utilize those, you are not being smart, because they're cheap, healthy, easy to use, and effective. And
so again, so like, I guess that we can zoom out and talk about fats, so fats are very necessary in one's diet. I see a lot in the bodybuilding realm. What do you see, Peter? Chicken rice, and that's protein and carbohydrates.
Yep.
And so, but fats are very important because, again, our body and our cells are made up of fats. There's a phospholipid bilayer on all of our cells, especially in the muscle cells too. And so if you're depriving yourself off of fats, unsaturated fats, mono or poly, then you're taking away from cell health and their ability to be.
That's like their armor, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that's one aspect behind it. Now, like we talking about brain health and neurological activity, and also the importance of omega supplementation with pregnant women. So there was a study showing that women who didn't supplement with omegas during their pregnancy did not carry the baby to full term. The ones that did supplement went to full term. And then one step later, so brain activity. So the kid from the mother that didn't supplement, that did supplement with the omegas, so their brain activity was as if they had just been stimulated with a new toy, compared to the ones that didn't have omegas. Then they kind of have a decreased brain excitement activity, which is a very interesting fact.
That's fascinating shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Weird, right? And so, bro, like, this is like years worth of shit. Bro, like,
I know. That's why we're here.
Get your pen and papers out, viewers, because you're learning a lot right now. But so we're talking about the animal lard. So, hold on, let me get my. So this is Shadows.
Shadow, welcome to the Hamm Planet Podcast. Looking like $1 million.
Yeah, she's my little sweetheart. But
how old is Shadow? She's
about to be 1 next month, dude. Yeah, so she's my little sweetheart.
Oh shit! New cat.
Yeah. I have another one. I think that you probably met, or you probably have seen her, but she's my white cat.
Yep, I've seen the white cat.
Yeah, but so back to what I was saying. So animal lard, or like the animal fat. So, whenever like we see like the white stuff on like the chicken, or like whenever beef says like 37%, so it is a common misconception that fat in the protein source is bad fat. However, they're all going to vary, but over 50% of that animal lard is unsaturated fats. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's the good fats, but again, like people
usually always scrape it off and they're like, oh, it's fucking disgusting.
Exactly. Yeah. But one thing though, I don't really rely on them as my fat source for that meal. Like I'll always do like extra virgin olive oil, which is a mono unsaturated, avocado, coconut oil, almonds, like those kind of high quality unsaturated fats. I'll always make sure that I have those in my meals.
I feel so just like proud of my nutrition every time I have any of those foods you just listed, or those.
Of course, dude. Like they're
essentials.
A necessity, yeah. But like there is a time where like, well, there is a meal that I don't have high fats. That's my pre-workout meal. And so the reasoning behind that is because fats, they do buffer the insulin response,
Mhm.
and they also slow down digestion. And so, but we know that insulin is the most anabolic hormone. Insulin means anabolic means to grow. And so, when do I want to spike my insulin? Is pre-workout. And so,
Yeah.
there's been this whole like trend about people eating like gummy bears and all that shit pre-workout. I personally, okay, I see it, but I don't
Shout out
necessarily.
Seth Feroci.
Yeah, I mean, so I like the idea behind it. I just don't like
Yeah.
the fact that candy still, though, you know.
Howdy there, ladies and gents. It is your good friend, Commercial Break Peter, here to remind you that I hope you have a great day today, and I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Back to the show. One of the main reasons, I'd say top 3 reasons I decided to start the podcast was because there's too many people in this world that have like very genuine, valuable questions that they just don't ask, or they're not, socially acceptable with asking it to someone, or they feel like what they're going to ask will be viewed as crazy or stupid, or fucking list goes on and on. But the thing is my whole life, I've drawn so much value from the people who were able to answer those questions for me without me having to, answer it for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, for example, throughout my whole high school, college, and honestly, it's been amplified as an adult, I have, researched just any question I have to the maximum of my ability. But when you're able to ask it to someone who has experience in that area, and more importantly, if that person who you're asking, who has the experience, gives a response, let alone a good one, that response can provide value to a lot more people out there who probably had the same fucking question.
Like I said, man, I mean, like, ask away, my friend.
It's your homie Commercial Break Peter here again. And you heard the man, ladies and gents. If Eric says ask away, ask I shall. So now we're having an intellectual discussion on SARMs and SERMs. Back to the show.
SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators, but there's SERMs, selective estrogen receptor modulators. So
Yep.
SERMs, primarily drugs like tamoxifen or Nolvadex, from what you probably hear. So those drugs were actually originally intended to improve the lipid panel. LDLs, triglycerides, HDLs, primarily raise HDLs and manage LDLs. Whereas like this was like kind of like this past like decade type of research, because like all these stuff are like newer to the game, because like all we used to have are AIs, aromatase inhibitors, because again, just to like freshen up on the viewers. So whenever this happens naturally too, but so testosterone has the ability to convert into many things, DHT being one of them, dihydrotestosterone, and also estrogen testosterone can aromatize into estrogen, hence why you get the term aromatase inhibitor. You're inhibiting that
aromatization.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's kind of basic hormonal knowledge.
Yeah.
So estrogen, however, though, is necessary for healthy men brain and sexual function. I once crashed my estrogen from taking letrozole for a gynecomastia problem, and basically, let me just show you. So you'll be going, and then you kind of go softer, you know. So
Fucking
that's
hate to
like
see it.
yeah, so like that's like one of like the ways that you can like kind of tell if you crash your estrogen. Um, Another way is if your joints feel really dry, you know, like your knees are cracking and
The old
like
man syndrome.
yeah. I mean, like the back of your knee like feels like that. I mean, like the ligaments like sliding or what they call it, but that's one way to tell if you crash your estrogen. So you need that good balance of healthy amounts of estrogen. Thus, you can check that from your blood test on your estradiol levels and your E2 levels. And so these SERMs will help manage not crashing it too drastically. They improve the lipid panel, contrary to AIs, which actually
Worsen.
yes, worsen the lipid panel. So you'll see the HDLs kind of tank on that, and LDLs, triglycerides also not really improving or rising given the diet circumstances too. And like they're also a little more hit harder, you know. I mean, like I mean, shit. You take 1 milligram of anastrozole every day, and you're taking 500 tests. Chances are you're gonna, have like no fucking estrogen, which will also affect your brain, neurological functions. I mean, like they all kind of link together, you know.
The
Because again,
neurological effects um, have always been like extremely fascinating to me, I must say. Like
yeah,
thinking about the way my mind will function when it's in certain hormonal states, it's it's hard to analyze like in the moment, but once you have that like big picture approach of how everything affects each other, fucking the way it affects mental clarity is huge. Like there will be some days where everything's firing on all cylinders, and I definitely feel like, wow, my body is hormonally balanced and synergistic today. There's days where it's just like, fuck, I did blank, and that's why I'm feeling blank. And it's fascinating shit. The hormone profile everyone has is a massive dictator of how they feel, act, speak, react, and so on.
just that. I mean, like most folks don't know about anabolic androgenic steroids will have an effect on your nervous system, parasympathetic, par, par, parasympathetic parasympathetic nervous system. Sorry.
I fucking can barely say it either. I was gonna you say the first half, me say the second half.
Yeah. So and so most of the time, like it'll over excite your central nervous system, thus raising anxiety. And also, you know how some people experience insomnia or trinsomnia, you know, it's
Yep.
it's because of that overstimulated, overexcited nervous system, you know. And again, like, and that's what with most, you know, EQ is known to raise anxiety like a motherfucker.
A hefty cruise is not a bad ride.
Dude, like to be honest, bro, like my favorite was my Europa prep, but I'm very salty because my friend that was helping me
Yeah.
fucked up my peak drastically because he has no idea about diuretic pharmacology, and yet he's preaching and slamming all of his competitors with 4 or 5 diazides and then making them flat as shit. And I was one of them. So no names, you know, but like I mean, like we already talked
Right.
about them. So, but yeah, but my look for that was insane. But that was like a low test, high trend, high mast, Proviron, Halo, and High Winnie. You know,
Yep.
but again, like this is competitor for the optimal shreds look.
This professional shit.
Yeah, but but again, I was lean as shit. Again, like it wasn't because of like the
How'd you
diet. It
feel
was
though?
tired. Didn't want to think about anything else and just getting my shit done. Exhausted. Didn't want to do anything. Don't talk to me. Like that kind of vibe.
Yeah. I
So it's
fucking
not the most pleasant feeling, but because I was such in a exhausted state, If I was
right.
eating regularly or like even like under maintenance, I would probably feel like a god.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the things I'll say. Like, I love bodybuilding and I love everything from the fucking discussions around it to that way it can change people's lives. But like, the one thing that has always steered me away from shows, which I'm just a meat house, simple as that. But how much, intensity that fucking has to go into it, and the depletion in certain the extreme shit you have to go through and go strive towards, like leading up to the show. I respect the fuck out of it. Don't get me wrong, by all means. But like the people who can do 20, 30, 40, 50 shows, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, bro. Like,
What else are you doing? How the fuck are you alive? Where do you stand on that?
So no shows right now. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of
You interested in them?
Not really. Like I've already proved myself. There's no reason for me to really push the drugs like that anymore. Me being 25 now, because again, like for my genetic cards that I was played, I really need to push the stuff to really be competitive, which then
It was 6'6", right? Or 6'5".
6'4", yeah. And so, but my upper body doesn't really hold its fullness very well, and so like I really have to pump the food to really grow. I mean, like, bro, you've seen my legs. I mean, bro, like I'll be like 1,000 calories and my legs are full of shit,
Yeah.
But my upper body just, I mean, like, again, like genetics, man, like there's no reason for me to be pushing 1 cc of freaking Trene every day just to, I mean, like get top 3, I mean, like,
right. It ain't
no
worth
reason
it at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. So I made that call after my last show. Of course, like I got fucking politically fucked too, because the 2 dudes that placed ahead of me had no legs, but I mean they had the edge on me for upper body. Yes, I'll give them that, but they had no legs, which is half of your physique.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not gonna do this shit for a good while. And so I tried to bulk up on this blast that I'm doing now, but again, like I don't look forward to like eating that much food anymore, and like I mean, like literally, I mean, maybe if I was still in school and like that was like my only thing, but now that I have work, I can't always eat on time. I got to go train clients. I got to go do a podcast with my boy Peter. I mean, like,
okay,
I'm gonna be like, oh, Peter, let me eat.
Yep.
No. I mean, like, there's again, because like that's part of the whole taking away from the beautiful aspects of life.
Amen.
There's no reason, it's okay. Like. I gotta eat. I gotta fucking have my coworkers cover for me while I go eat. Like that's so selfish.
Yeah.
Bro. Like I feel like I couldn't even go pro without really pushing it too hard, and so I'm doing this all out of my pocket.
Yep.
Still, I mean, like, there's no reason for me to do all that shit and not get compensated for it. I mean, of course, like it'll boost my name, boost some online clients, boost some clients there, but again, like. The cost for bot, bro, like my
expensive.
My show is cracked like $5,000,
Yeah.
And I mean, like, there's no reason for me to drop $7,000 on a $5 trophy,
right?
So it's like fuck that,
And there's
for now. This is what I currently feel like, I mean, like, maybe I get bit by that bug and I'm gonna go compete, you know. But as of right now, as of April 27th, sorry, my cat, she's
All good, brother. She's welcome.
um
I fucking love it.
yeah, she's a character. But yeah, I mean, like, there's no reason for me to really do it right now. Nor like do I want to. You know,
Brother, I support that decision, and I feel like something that's good that you recognize, which I feel like a lot of men our age sometimes aren't able to look at things maybe in this light. But when you know about something and you have a high knowledge of it and a high expertise, and it's been like something that you've been about for a long ass time in your life, and you're able to say, hey, like, I'm a master in this realm, but instead of continuing to master it or keep trying to push it, I'm going to use what I learned and I'm going to focus on sharing it with others so that it can help them in extremely valuable ways. That's such a better decision, just with all things considered, than putting the body through the fucking grinder. And howdy there, ladies and gents. It is commercial break Peter again, and we're having a blast. We hope you're having a blast. And we're about to get to one of my favorite parts of the show. And we're back to the show. Hamm Planet Podcast, Would You Rather questions. A few T's and C's. I will answer them with you. They might be crazy. They might be goofy. They might be funny. They might be thought-provoking. They might just be off the rocker. But outside of the question is up for interpretation.
okay.
There we go. Question number 1. Would you rather lose all of your teeth or all of your hair?
Teeth, because I can just get well, can I get what are those things called?
Veneers?
Yeah. Can you get veneers?
Like I said, brother, it's if it's outside the question, it's up to your own interpretation. But I would assume so. Yeah, I mean, shit. It's not saying you lose all your money.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so teeth can be replaced, hair cannot. As easy. So yes.
Yeah, they're coming out with some hair shit though. I feel like I've seen Deion Sanders in those hair commercials.
Fucking finasteride, bro. 2 milligrams. I'm kidding. Sorry. Go ahead.
That might do the trick too, ladies and gents. All right, brother Eric. Question number 2. Would you rather give up the internet or showering for a month?
The internet, because I would get a lot of self-reflecting time and a good get away from having to keep up with like this image.
Right.
I really like an image that like I try to put out, but like, you know, like I am someone that's pretty popular on social media, internet stuff. So it'd be a good break.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, they can when you have a reputation, you know, it's a constant job sometimes to fulfill
Living
it.
up to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, brother. I'm sure we could write a book on that topic. But question number 3. Would you rather have your mouth taped shut for an entire year or one hand tied behind your back for an entire year?
Probably one hand because I talk so much, you know.
Yeah,
You know, so like,
you got to be able to talk. I'm going hand too.
Yeah, I mean, like, because again, like, I'll compromise enough. Okay, so how long do I have my hand behind my back?
Both are for a year.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I'd rather. But the thing is, like, you can text and play that out with 2 hands. But I mean, can you shower with one hand? You know, I mean, yes, you can, but like,
Not a good
like,
shower.
exactly. Can you play video games? I mean, like, I'll probably do mouth shut now that I really think about it because then like I can work out still and all that too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the year that I would have my mouth taped shut, I would get the swollest I've ever been. I
Oh
would
yeah, man.
probably accomplish the most shit I've ever accomplished. Probably cut
Yeah.
down the most trees I've ever cut down.
Yeah.
You got me sold.
Good,
I'm
man. It's
going.
good.
I'm going. Taping the old mouth. Podcast would be in sign language.
Right? Yeah. Or like just like text it out. Text and play.
That would be a blow to the podcast if we had to go to sign language. But luckily, these are just questions.
It's hypothetical. Yeah.
All hypothetical. All right, brother. Would you rather watch a marathon of your favorite TV show? This one's shitty. Pulling another one out of the rabbit hat.
Got you.
Would you rather have your entire life experiences converted into a movie that you can watch whenever you want to remember them, or your life turned into a book that can be read and interpreted by anyone and lives on forever?
I'd rather do the movie so I can see them, because like only I can really interpret.
That one's
them.
tough. Yeah.
I mean, like, because a lot of my life is very visual, and people reading that wouldn't get that same effect.
Yeah. I feel like reading 50 years. I don't know if we're going to be reading things, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. I know. Yeah. I mean,
It's
I don't really do a lot now, just in general. I do more like visual type of stuff.
and that's extremely more effective in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like, I learn way better like visual too. Very weird, but yeah.
I think it's the best way to learn. Well, brother, great responses to the questions.
Was that it?
We got some bonus questions if you are still feeling alive for them. Fire away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can throw me a bonus.
I actually got one off the top of my head that I don't need to read.
Gotcha.
So, brother, would you rather hallucinate that there is a clown inside of your room every time that you walked into it, but you were hallucinating it? Like, only you can see this clown, but it's there and it's creepy. And have that for the rest of your life. Or permanently have a guy in an Easter Bunny suit stalking you, trying to kill you. Which one would you rather go with?
I'd rather do the clown one because I'm a very big fan of Slipknot, and one of the members is like, well, his mask is a clown, and I really fuck with clowns. Very weird. But yeah, I mean, I'll be like, hey, that's dope. I mean, like, if I saw that, I'll be like, hey, fucking, is that
What's
clown
good, man? Back
yeah.
home.
Yeah, I'll fucking start playing some heavy metal or something,
Start kicking it with him.
I'm saying, yeah, I mean, like, I'll be like, hey, dude, enjoy the ride with me, bro. So, is it a drug-induced hallucination?
I don't know. I'd assume so. Or maybe it's a schizophrenic type crazy shit.
I guess. I mean, like, they're both positives, both negatives. So
those type of syndromes blow my mind. People who like hallucinate, but they're not like on some shit.
I feel bad for them, man.
Me too. It's tough. It's tough. One more bonus?
Yeah, sure, bro. Go for it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the bonus realm. Brother, would you rather be able to accurately read minds or accurately predict the future?
I don't know, because if I predict the future, then I can change what I'm doing now. That'll also change the future. If I can read minds, and I can manipulate what I do for a better overall output. So I probably want to read minds. Plus, like, well, the caveat is that sometimes you don't want to always hear what people think. And so
Sure.
can I pick and choose whose mind to think? Or like, is it just
I would assume
I look at
so.
someone and then it's automatic?
I'd assume so.
Okay, yeah, because
There we go.
if I can pick and choose, and yes, mind read.
I hate to say it, brother, but I'm going predict the future.
Really?
Just think about, like, if this is the stock market mentality coming out in me, but if you know what companies or what technologies absolutely 100% are going to take over, you would become, as wealthy as you'd want to be. And then when you're extremely wealthy, you're able to choose what you want to do with that. I would use it for the good.
Of course.
I'd have a damn good party for everyone. And it's tough. So, if you could read minds, you'd get rich as shit too. Howdy there, ladies and gents. Commercial break, Peter. Here to ask you, would you rather be able to read minds or predict the future? Let me know in the comments below. And now we have some closing remarks from Eric. Enjoy.
I hope this episode was very interesting. I'll try to bring different perspectives towards fitness and health and wellness. So if y'all want if you ever want any sort of mentoring regarding health and wellness, feel free to look me up on Instagram, Eric F. Mora. I know Peter will have that provided too.
Absolutely. Fellas, ladies and gents, I said it once, but I'll say it again because I don't want you to miss out. Do yourself a favor and go show some love by giving Eric a follow on Instagram at Eric F. Mora. Guys, he is a walking, talking knowledge bank. And when it comes to fitness, health, nutrition, and the science behind it, Eric is my go-to guy. So if you ever need mentorship, just simple advice, or want to connect with a professional who's extremely passionate about the work he does, couldn't give Eric a bigger recommendation. He's provided a lot of value to me, and I absolutely want to share that with you. So, Eric F. Mora on Instagram. Turn that blue box into a white one. So with that being said, folks, we hope you enjoyed the podcast tonight. We hope you had a hell of a time in the galaxy of good vibes. We had a blast. Point blank, simple as that. We had a blast. And if you enjoyed the show tonight, do your man a favor. Hit the like button. Spank the subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. Do what you got to do for the algorithm, because I greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, as always, folks, remember, you can never overdose on the good vibes. We shall see you soon, and we shall see you in the galaxy of good vibes yet again. Adios and sweet dreams, my friends.